Hi there. Hey, Scott Dodson here, Northwest Distribution, Vice President of Marketing and Sales. Now look, I'm here to show you and tell you all about the wood stoves. Now this segment of the Directbuy video training series is all about wood products. Now first thing you got to know is 2009, all wood stoves have a 30% tax credit from the federal government. So every time a Directbuy member comes into your store and asks about, do you carry wood stoves? You say, do we ever? We have a great lineup of wood stoves, plus every single one of them will have a 30% tax rebate associated with them. And not only for the stove itself, but also for all the venting products, the chimney system, and even the installation labor that goes into it, up to $1,500. So always keep that in mind for gas and, for wood and pellet stove. Now what we have behind me are two different wood products, okay? The one over here is a 1450 Napoleon wood-burning freestanding stove. Okay, this is a nice entry-level wood stove. It's a really good quality item. This here is the 1101 EPI 1101P, which is a wood-burning insert. We'll get to both of those in a second. Now, first thing you got to know about wood stoves is that they take a chimney system. It's very important. The chimneys are critical to these things working properly, and you got to have one. Obviously, you got to exhaust the smoke up through the house. All the wood stove chimneys have to go straight up through the house, all the way through the roof. And what's used there is a Class A chimney. It's called Class A factory-built chimney system. I'm going to show you that right now. One caveat here, your customer might have an existing chimney that he's putting a wood stove, changing out an old wood stove, or putting an insert like this into a fireplace that they already have in their home. I'll go over that real quick as well. But all these can adapt into an existing chimney system or existing fireplace as well. Thereby you won't need a full, what they call Class A system. But say your client wants to put a brand new wood stove in his home. He's putting a wood stove in, it's a brand new home, or it's a retrofit and he wants to do a chimney going straight up. What you're going to use is Class A, and that's what this is right here. This is called Class A pipe. Now as you can see, it's nice and thick. It's an inch thick. It's made of stainless steel on the outside, stainless steel on the inside, and it's got an insulation material that's inside of it, and this is good up to 2100 degrees to be 2 inches from a combustible material. That's important. Just remember, 2 inches to combustibles on a Class A pipe. Now this is important because when they put it in, it has to be put in correctly. Now, one of the benefits of using Northwest Distribution, which you might already know by now, is the fact that we handle all of your clients directly. Hey, it's great. We can actually take your customers' phone calls directly into our sales team. We can go over the entire project with them. So we can bid them out on the fireplace or the stove, the full chimney system package, all the engineering that has to go along with it, everything they need to know on the technical side we can help them with. Then we put together a full bid, okay, and we email it back to either them or back to the center where they can then place the order with you. So we make it real easy for Directbuy to do business in this area. No longer are these going to be considered a problem area as far as knowing what to do exactly, because you're dealing with, first of all, fire. Second of all, you're dealing with lots of national codes, and they all have to be operated competently and put in correctly as far as the parts that are going to be needed for the system, especially when it comes to a Class A system. There's a lot of components that go into this system. There's roof jacks, and there's fire stops, and there's chimney supports, and there's a ceiling box, and there's a cap, and there's little things. They all have to be done correctly. We're here to help you do that. You don't have to figure it out on your own. Don't worry about it. In fact, the only thing you have to remember from this particular videotape is our phone number. Because once you have that, you've got all the answers to all the questions you're ever going to have. So remember, this is Class A. Every system's going to have to use this. Now, be advised, this only goes from the ceiling up through the roof, like up through the attic and then out through the roof, or that kind of thing. This only goes in areas where you're going to be enclosed into the structure. Okay, but inside the room where the stove is, the freestanding stove right here, where this guy is, you can use two different types of pipe. This is called DVL, or close clearance interior pipe. And then there is the good old-fashioned single wall pipe. Now, single wall is just like you can buy this actually at any hardware store. We happen to sell the Simpson Duratec Dura Black pipe. This is a really good quality pipe. It's not a cheap pipe. They might find it at a hardware store, so you can give them the best stuff. So again, we would put this on their bid order for them. When they call us, we'll know exactly how much of this to put on their order and all the other parts that go into making it work perfectly for their application. This is the zero clearance. Now, the important difference between these two types is simply the clearance to combustibles. Single wall is 18 inches, so it has to be 18 inches from the wall. So if the client's going to want to put it in, and they're more than 18 inches from a combustible wall with this pipe coming off the top of the stove, then they just use a single wall. If they got to be closer than 18 inches, they got to use the single wall. This can go up to 6 inches off the combustible wall. So that's important. A lot of people like to tuck their stove a little bit further into the corner or against the wall, and they want to make sure they can do that correctly. Again, this will dictate a 6-inch to combustible to the wall clearance. So that's important to consider. A lot of people just need to do that. So here's your three types of pipe. You got Class A, the big stuff goes through the roof. And you got in the interior, you got single wall and double wall. Depending on your clearances, you got 18 inches and 6 inches. Okay, so that's the pipe for you. Now let's get back to these stoves here. And what you see back of me here is a fireplace insert. Now this is very much in demand. This will take a regular open fireplace that's drafty, losing air. Open fireplaces are notorious for losing heat out of the home. They're just big holes in the house, and all the air just gets sucked up them. They've got dampers in them, but they don't usually work. They're in there wrong, or they're leaky. So anyway, a lot of people want to put something in them that's going to give them heat back, and especially in today's day and age with the volatility of heating oil and everything else, natural gas. People really want to be able to have a secondary source of heat and something they can really depend on. They just want to get back to nature, back to the basics here. Let me go cut some wood, put it in my fireplace, and keep warm. Well, that's what this thing is going to enable you to do. We've got a lot of different choices in the fireplace insert category. We've got the Napoleon product. We also carry the Sahara product, which is a fantastic line if they want a bigger fireplace insert. One thing you got to know with fireplace inserts is that every one of them has to be relined from the unit all the way up through the top of the chimney. So when someone says, yeah, I want to get a fireplace insert, first of all, you say, okay, here's the book. You give them the Napoleon book or the Sahara book or whatever book you got. And then when they get down to, hey, what about this, relining thing? Hey, well, you just call Northwest Distribution. They'll explain it all to you. But let me show you what the liner is, okay? This is a stainless steel chimney liner right here. Now, this comes in different lengths, and it has to connect directly on the top of the stove and go all the way up through the chimney. It's a nice, solid thing. It's flexible. You can bend it, so it can bend around corners or down through the chimney cavity, and they connect directly into the back of this insert in the fireplace and go all the way up and have a cap and everything up there. Now, of course, we sell all those components, and we can ship them with the stove directly to the client's house. We'll save them a lot of money over traditionally buying it through a local retailer or a chimney sweep. Again, this is all wholesale direct at the same multipliers that they're getting the stoves at. So just be advised that they have to reline the chimney. Relining the chimney is a little bit of a complicated item, typically not a homeowner do-it-yourself job. Some people can do it, but it involves usually ripping out the damper area right above the firebox and demolition, and there's a lot of dust and everything, and it gets kind of crazy in there. And then it also dealing with heights and getting this up on the roof. Now this will come in like a 10, a 15, a 25, or 35 foot length. So basically it comes on one spool, they roll it out, and they shove it down the chimney from the top. There's also some other things that go into play here, like an insulating jacket material or such, and those all have to be considered when they're doing the relining. But everyone has to be relined, so it's very important that you reline for national codes, #1, and #2, just for the safety of the home. It makes the system work that much properly. Okay, so here you got it. Now, just when the customer client comes into the Directbuy, you can give them the book. Now, all of the Directbuy should have a Napoleon book. They should have a Sahara book. And when you open this up, the first page here actually has a page that shows a guy on a telephone. It's not me, but it's a guy on the phone here, and he's saying we're here to help. Okay, and that's what he is. We're here to help. So when the client looks at this book and they start thumbing through here and they start wondering, well, what about this and what about that? In any of the aspects, any of the products in this book, they can simply use their cell phone right from the table inside of the Directbuy location and just call up a technician. And you don't have to be, worry about knowing the answer to these questions or going back and forth with some manufacturer or distributor who doesn't really want to get, in with the customer. We'll talk directly to the customer. We found the best way to do it is just go directly to the client. We talk to them like they're next door to us. We go over all the aspects, we find out what they want exactly, we just give them suggestions, because we really can hone this down quickly for a client and get them the exact products that they need for their application. That way, when we have a product delivered to their home, it's going to be in good shape, and it's going to be exactly what they want, and we're not going to get a phone call saying, hey, I thought this unit had no glass on it, and has glass, or I thought it was this, and it's that. This way, they already know that. We've kind of went through that and all the specifications and installation requirements that they're going to need to put them in. So again, Northwest Distribution, hey, we're here for you in all these products. We're going to take you through the season. Remember the 30% tax credit going into 2009. If you have any questions, you just have your customers call us direct, or the member services staff can call us direct. We are here 6 days a week. We usually put bids together within the hour and fax them or email them back to wherever you want them to be. And then we also keep the bid on file with us. So when it comes time to order, all you have to do is tell us the bid number or fax in a copy of the bid that we fax to you, and boom, it's done immediately. Again, we're one of the largest Napoleon distributors in the nation. We're also very big with Sahara, Simpson Durban, venting products. All that stuff comes to you at your wholesale pricing. And hey, we appreciate all you guys working with us. And if you have any questions, give us a call. Thank you.